Got the 1997 Mazda Miata. It wound up coming back about a couple weeks ago. I just never had time to do anything with it besides just a very basic assessment. Right now, the motor's locked up. If this is the same Mazda Miata I wound up doing the head gasket on several months ago. I want to say it was well over a year ago. I've done the head gasket on this twice over the course of like 6 years, I want to say. And it things happen. It loses coolant, runs hot, and it just whatever happened. I got the head shaved both times and completely redone. But why we're here today, again, because it's locked up. I wonder what happened. And at the moment, it seemed like the rod's bent, but there's no major coolant intrusion in the cylinders. So that's what I'm in the process of discovering now. I'm going to show you how I determined the rod was bent, and it don't seem like the coolant was just it was ingesting coolant violently. And I do believe, honestly, what had happened, because the head gasket was blown twice in its life, that it probably weakened the rod. And when I would start it up, it would have like a slight knock anyway, but it probably got hot, got real weak, hit a weak point on an axis, and it bent. So I'm going to show you that. But here's the evidence that I have. The coolant level is a little low, nothing major. The customer didn't complain about the car overheating. Now, coolant can be ingested in the cylinder incrementally with no issue. I've had cars like head gasket blows so extreme, and it'll smoke out the back. All cars are different. This is just the 1.8, and again, it blew twice, so it's probably weakened it up. So the coolant was probably being ingested, and I could see that on the scope here. If I look down at the side of the bore, it may not show the detail on the camera here, but is looking green. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put some air pressure inside of the coolant system and see if I can get it to leak out a little better. But it is definitely wet around the head gasket. And this time I did use some copper spray. Let me put it in the next bore here. This is number 2. Number 2 looked a little worse. And call me crazy, but it, like right there's some green. I'm hoping the head's not cracked. But if the rod's been, if I do rebuild this motor, definitely gonna have to take the block and get it decked. I'm just kind of like in a situation where now, do I build it, because these motors are expensive. They're like $2,500 to $3,000 on eBay, and you just don't know what you're getting on eBay. Or you can just find you some rods, hopefully get the block checked and get it redone. So that's what kind of like in the situation I'm in now. So the coolant level's a little low, coolant intrusion. And let me show you one more thing, but let me just put air pressure in there first. Let's just add air. Let's see if the caps will. Yeah, the cap's pretty good, so it should hold. I didn't see any deformation on the gasket. Let's go do the old school method. Pull this out. Okay, it's kind of hard to keep it steady. I got about 16 to 17 psi air pressure in there. Oh, my camera went off. So here's our piston top. It's a little clean around there, so it must have been leaking a little bit. And yeah, we can see it leaking between the head gasket. All right. Now, as I said, the customer didn't call and complain about anything leaking, so it's a possibility it was ingesting the coolant real slow. No big deal. damage is done now. So let's get this out. Piston top is a little clean. But let me show you what I found out. So the engine is in a lock position right now. I made a mark on a 1/4 inch extension. And I'm trying to achieve the same angle. This is number 1. You can see that matches right there on top of the valve cover. Matches there, top of the valve cover. Here's cylinder 2. Matches right there on the valve cover. Here's cylinder 3. And this is actually, let's see, it's a little higher. I don't know if it'll pick that up. So this is cylinder 3 right there. And then cylinder 2. Look how high that is. I don't know if it's gonna pick it up. See how it's sitting out. All right, so let me go on that same angle on 3, because these supposed to be the same height. Look how that hits the cover, same position. So this is level with the valve cover. Cylinder 2. Isn't leveled. It is not leveled. So it actually sticks up a little bit more. So if I took a paint pen, position it at the top of the valve cover, and turn my extension, and that's the respective marks I have on the extension. So here's the white for number 3. And then 2 was the lower one. And strangely, you know, it just hit it at a level spot, because number 1, you can kind of see what the mark is right there. Let's go to number 4. See how they correspond. So 1 and 4 are going to be the same height, and the center 2 are going to be the same. So 2 is going to be normal because it's the highest one. 3 should be the bent one because that's the lower one. So this is going to be our bent rod here. Threw me for a loop. I don't know why. So when I pull this motor apart, 3 is going to be the bent rod, and then the head gasket is blown a little bit. So regardless, I'm going to have to take the head down, block, get the block decked, checked, pressure test for the head gasket. Yeah, it's the next day. And I wound up sending the customer the information to order the rebuild kit. I think it's like D&J. They have a oil pump, pistons, and everything I need except for the rod. So that's going to get ordered. Today, I'm just going to snatch the head off real quick and see if there's any issues with the block. Because if there's a crack or anything in the block, then I'm screwed. And this is going to be trash and going to have to do something else. But she already ordered the part, so better now pull it off, inspect the block before anything else go further. And I also found out this may be my last time working on this car. I've been working on this car for so long. I put a close gear ratio transmission in here. Did everything, head gaskets, water pumps, anything it needed, radiator, AC system, everything. So I think her ex wound up doing the relocation kit and the headers and stuff. But yeah, for the most part. Oh yeah, I think I did the intake too. Can't remember because that's a slightly upgraded intake, if I recall properly. Don't hold me on that. I ain't that familiar with these cars, but I think the head is different, intake, and we got some slight modifications. I digress. So yeah, maybe my last time working on a car. I got a lot of customers that either separate, divorce, or either naturally occurring events take place, and they're no longer here. So yeah, it kind of hurts me. So I'm gonna do my damnness, my best, and just like anything else, it's gonna get done right. And I'm gonna test drive it 50 miles before I give it back. Make sure and triple check my work, make sure it's on point. But this may be like a 3-part video. But at the moment, I think from yesterday, we just kind of did something that's least invasive. But now I know I need to tear this down, and I'm kind of debating on how I want to get this motor out. So right now, I'm gonna pull the head off, and I'm just gonna show just the end result of the head being off in this block inspection, because I think I've done a head gasket job, a video with this before some years ago, and that I'm not going to bore you with all that stuff because I already bore you with my talking, if I recall properly. Let me tear into it, and we'll see what it looks like. So it's been an hour later. I got the cylinder head off. Being that this car is modified, I didn't have to. A lot of the unnecessary mounting bolts and stuff like that is no longer there. So things that held the intake on, no longer there. All I had to do was, pull off the header, timing belt, and the head bolts. Just some basic stuff, and just slide it off. So that's that, and that's the cool thing about the old cars and modifying them. And I guess the bittersweet thing of having a timing belt. I did clean the surface area of the cylinder head with the wire wheel. Say what you want with it. It's not gonna hurt anything. It's a cast iron block. The pistons, I did clean it also with brake cleaner just a little bit, so I can get a better visual of any potential cracks on the block. And it does need to be milled, I'm not gonna lie. But let me show you what I found out. This is to reinforce the idea that cylinder 3 is going to be our problem. So let's pull this up a little bit, and we're at 45, 46, close to 47 millimeters on 2, and these should be the same height, 2 and 3, and 1 and 4. They should all be the same height. So here's 3. Right at 52. So we're like 46. That's what about 6 to 7 millimeter difference. Let's do 1. We're at about 54 millimeters. And 4. Yep. Same, 54. Yeah, so they're the same. So we're dealing with bent rods. That's all that is. Right on that one. Well, the main thing is, I got it torn down. I'm gonna say about 20% because I do have to extract it and tear it down even further. And get to the machine shop. And I still got to find the rods. So I'm making progress. I mean, this is more 100% confirmation, even though I confirmed it with the test with the extension. So that was confirmation anyway. That wasn't enough to determine that we're dealing with a bent rod. So next video, hopefully I'm gonna try to make this like 3 different parts because this is space on the phone. And but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna work on a bunch of other things. It's probably gonna be like a month. I don't want to make this all in one go. So next video we'll have it out. We'll just do more of a visual inspection. Probably do an assembly, and then the last blip of the video is probably just everything put back together and starting. I mean, most of the people don't watch the rebuild videos anyway on my channel. So that's not a really big thing. But we saw that we're dealing what we're dealing with, and we're gonna conquer what we're dealing with. I just got to get those rods. I should have asked the customer if she wanted to put some high compression pistons or something in here, because this is, like I said, slightly modified. Well, but this carburetor is not going to come back. Probably not a good idea. The only other thing I want to add is that it did have like a slight oil consumption problem. But look at those bores. They're glazed. You can see the reflection. I mean, they're shiny. So with the new pistons and rings, because the head has been done already on a couple of occasions, with the new pistons and rings, this should, on a hone, that'll definitely resolve the oil consumption problem, and should be working like brand new. All of the 110 horsepower should be restored. It's the next day, so it's like day 3 of me screwing around with this. When I got the camera yesterday, I did wind up pulling a lot more stuff down. I was like, you know what, let me just, it looked like I can pull it out with the transmission still in there because it has so much space. And when I was looking for motors on the internet, I seen some guys with the motor mount still stuck on there. So yeah, it worked out. Pulled the bolts down from the bottom, and all this room I had, hell yeah. This has been my second engine that I am able to remove and potentially reinstall with the manual transmission in there. The first one was Jeep, old 86 WJ or something like that. I not a Jeep guy, so I managed to do that because the frame cross member bolts were so bad I couldn't even do anything with it. So I managed to pull that transmission, the engine with the transmission still in there, so it worked out. So I'm free right now. When we get it up, get the oil drain, and let's take a look at that rod. I'm curious to see what it looked like. But my biggest thing is, hopefully there's no no metal in the oil pan. And I know it's not going to be that, but because the engine rotates fine, it's just that rod's bent. Well, unfortunately, I wasn't wrong, but I was. Check this out. Dang it. I was afraid of that. But I did have some conviction, like, okay, maybe, roll the dice. We're probably dealing with a 50-50 bent rod. It is bent, but also the bearing is spun. So I'm gonna call the machine shop and see if this is something they're willing to do. I mean, hopefully we can find an oversized bearing, or maybe they can just do the cap. I don't know. I'll have to call and let them know, see what we're up against. But it ain't looking good. One's fine. 2, 3 is the culprit, and 4 is gonna look okay. Not sure what happened so much, but yeah, we're. I guess got to see what the machine shop say. So I took an emery cloth to it. Call me crazy, but I do believe, this could be salvaged. I do believe. Call me crazy. We're probably gonna hit some high spots. We're right at 45 millimeters. Yeah. Yeah, right at 45 there. And it's not 100%, don't get me wrong. This is not like a legit test, but I'm going to say that material was more surface layer, and this could be polished out. When I take it to the machine shop, I'm gonna get more information, but I didn't show you the rod. But this is what happened. The bearing is somewhere down there, so there's part of it. I feel a little better. The bearing materials on here. And trust me, I really would like to put a motor in it, but the thing is, my problem is I don't know what I'm getting off eBay. I don't want to. That's just, $3,000 is too much to get screwed over, and you just don't know how many miles they will maintain well or anything. At least I know whatever we do, even if I let the machine shop just do the bottom end, I would feel better knowing that we did it and we got all the part stuff, and it's clean the best it's going to be. And it'll work as good as it's going to be. So we'll see. I mean, these are pretty much basic. Ain't no balance shafts in here, nothing complex. So that was already like that. The other portion of this gasket was from the pickup was on the oil pump. But at least we'll know what we're getting. The oil pump's going to get replaced, and when the machine shop get it, they're going to deck everything, clean everything. And I think we'll be in good shape. Let me see that the piston was like it was hit at the bottom of the skirt there. So I mean, I did turn the crank and inspect that. You could tell it was hit there on the counterweight. Not bad. I mean, I think we're fine. Once they get it and they'll check it, they'll do their part. I'll do my part. But if anything happens, I'll definitely update. Hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, have a rich of some work. And I'll see you on the next one.